So Shopify did something this week that honestly I think is going to be one of those things we look back on as a turning point. They launched what they're calling agentic storefronts. And the idea is pretty simple. Every eligible Shopify merchant is now discoverable inside ChatGPT, Google's AI mode, Microsoft Copilot, and the Gemini app, all managed from one place in the Shopify admin. But here's where it gets real. 5.6 million merchants now have access to 880 million people who use ChatGPT every month. And this isn't a pilot, it's not a beta. You have to opt into, it's on by default. Now, how the buying actually works is worth understanding, right? Because when Shopify first talked about selling inside ChatGPT, OpenAI was pushing something called instant checkout, like buy the product without ever leaving the chat. Sounds great in theory, but OpenAI has since pulled back from that. Under the new setup, ChatGPT sends the buyer to the store's own website, either in a little browser inside the app on mobile or a new tab on desktop. So the sale happens on your site, not inside the chatbot, which honestly most store owners probably prefer. And the fees are interesting because they tell you how these platforms are thinking about this. OpenAI takes a 4% cut on every sale that comes through ChatGPT. That's on top of normal payment fees. Google AI mode takes nothing. Shopify says they're not adding any extra fees either. So depending on which chatbot your customer is using, what it costs you to show up there is pretty different. Here's the number that really makes this click though. Traffic coming to Shopify stores from AI is up 7 times since January 2025. Orders that came from AI up 11 times. Like, you think about that for a second. That's not noise. That's a whole new sales channel showing up in real time. And think about what this looks like in real life. Someone asks ChatGPT, what's a good carry-on bag under $200? ChatGPT doesn't send them to a list of links. It just recommends specific products. And now if those products are on Shopify, the store is right there in the answer. That's a completely different way to find products than anything Google Shopping or Amazon has ever done. The big question right now is, how do you make sure your product is the one the chatbot recommends? Shopify has put out some tips: good product data, clear descriptions, high quality images. But how these AI systems decide what to recommend, nobody really knows yet. It's still early. And the brands that figure this out first, they're going to have a real head start. Okay, so here's the next one. And honestly, this one's been a long time coming. YouTube killed Brand Connect, their old tool for connecting brands with creators, and they replaced it with something much bigger. At NewFronts 2026, YouTube announced Creator Partnerships, a new platform powered by Gemini that helps advertisers find and work with over 3 million YouTube creators. It plugs right into Google Ads and DV360 for the brands and into YouTube Studio for the creators. Now, the Gemini part is what makes this totally different from the old system, like night and day. You can now find creators just by typing what you're looking for in plain English. You literally type something like, find me US tech creators who review sports gear and have a strong Gen Z audience. And Gemini looks at billions of data points, brand mentions, how fast they're growing, who's watching, and gives you a list of creators that match with details about each one. So yeah, think about what that replaces. The old way of doing influencer marketing was agencies going out and finding creators by hand, looking through their stats, negotiating prices, sending emails back and forth for weeks, sometimes months. This turns all of that into a search bar inside the same place where you buy your ads. And here's a fun bit of context. YouTube bought a company called FameBit back in 2016 to build Brand Connect. That was 10 years ago. It took a full decade. But YouTube is finally replacing it with something that actually works at the scale brands have been asking for. On the ad side, YouTube is also pushing something called Creator Partnerships Boost. Basically, brands can take a creator's video and turn it into a paid ad that runs across Shorts and regular YouTube. So you find the creator, you partner with them, and then you boost their content with ad dollars all in one place. Creator Partnerships launches in 7 markets: the US, India, Indonesia, the UK, Brazil, Australia, and Canada. No commission fee from YouTube on the partnerships themselves. For brands spending on influencer marketing, finding the right creator just got a lot faster. The real question now is whether Gemini actually picks better creators than a person would. We'll see, but it's worth watching closely. But there's a bigger picture here, right? This came at the same event where Google showed how much Gemini now runs through their whole ad platform. There's a new tool called Ads Advisor that anyone can use now. Give it your media plan, and Gemini will set up your whole campaign for you. Ask it to track which ads are getting rejected or build you a dashboard. It does that too. So the pattern from Google this week is clear. Gemini is becoming the brain behind their entire ad system, not just a small add-on. Finding creators, planning campaigns, making them better, reporting on results, all of it is getting an AI layer. And honestly, if you're buying ads through Google 6 months from now, the whole experience is going to feel very different from what it is today. All right, switching gears a bit, Google started rolling out its March 2026 core update on March 27th. And for anyone managing organic search, the timing here creates kind of a complicated few weeks. So this is a big update to how Google decides what shows up in search. Google says it's about showing people better, more useful content. But here's the thing. Google is now looking more at how your page compares to other pages going after the same search. Like who actually answers the question better. The rollout could take up to 2 weeks. So if your rankings are jumping around right now, that's normal, don't panic. But here's what makes this one different. It's happening at the same time as 2 other big shifts. Google AI mode now has 75 million people using it every day, which means more and more searches never even show a normal results page. And there's this new thing called GEO, generative-engine-optimization, basically making sure your content shows up when people ask AI chatbots questions, not just when they Google something. That's become the fastest growing area in digital marketing this year. Like, that's a real thing now. The update also puts more weight on something Google calls EEAT, and that stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Basically, Google wants to know who wrote your content and why they're qualified to write it. Sites that make that clear, they're doing better. Original research, your own data, expert interviews, real first-hand stories. That's what Google is rewarding right now. And here's a number that honestly kind of shocked me. You know the local results that show up when you search for like a restaurant or a dentist near you? Ads now show up in 22% of those. A year ago, that was 1%. That's a 2100% jump in 12 months. If your business depends on showing up in those local results for free, that space is getting a lot smaller fast. One more thing worth knowing. A company called SEOProfy put out a report on March 24th with 52 stats on how search is changing. 68% of marketers say they're getting better results from their content because of AI. Companies using AI are seeing revenue go up between 3 and 15%, depending on the industry. And zero-click search, that's when someone gets their answer without ever clicking through to a website. That's not just a Google thing anymore. It's happening on ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Bing, Meta AI, basically everywhere. So if you're managing an SEO budget, this update alone probably won't wreck your rankings if you've been doing things right. But everything around it has changed. AI mode is pulling people away from normal search. Geo is becoming something you actually have to think about. Paid ads are taking up more space in local results, and zero-click answers are spreading across every major AI platform. Organic search isn't going away, but the rules for winning at it, they're changing faster than they have in the last 10 years. And honestly, the teams that treat this as just another Google update and wait it out, they're going to miss what's really happening here. That's what's moving in AI marketing this week.